Alright, here's another requested character that you all keep asking me about. And truth be told, I kind of can see why, but I guess a lot. But then again, I'm not the one who made the choice, you guys did. So I'm next going to be talking about DC and Marvel's battling Archermen. And I think I'm going to start off first with Clint Barton, also known as Hawkeye. Now, a lot of people have been asking, well, what's Hawkeye's origins? Because, there's many different ones. And there's many different looks for Hawkeye that have kind of changed over the years. Now, Hawkeye's look has never really kind of consistently changed too badly. Clint Barton, basically, he grew up in a circus. He grew up in the circus, and he was kind of a master archer, if you will. Some even said that he had near superhuman sight because he could nail a target from 500 yards, blindfolded or some stuff like that. And Hawkeye has been able to pull off some amazing feats. Basically, I refer to him as Captain America, but with a bow and arrow. Because in midair, he has actually shot 5 arrows, and they all consecutively split or ricocheted off each other in midair, mind you, and clogged up the gun of 5 bank robbers or something. Hawkeye does a lot of impressive stuff, and also, for a time, he had taken over the role of Ronin from Echo. And he actually took all that martial arts training and hand-to-hand combat that Captain America taught him, and even Danny Rad, Iron Fist, actually admitted that he was amazed with, the level of martial arts skill that Barton actually portrayed. And Barton is not just, take two. He's not just a good marksman with a bow and arrow, but he is also a good marksman with any weapon that you give him. But then again, maybe the 616 current universe of Hawkeye is maybe not quite as proficiently deadly as, say, the Ultimate version of Hawkeye. Because in the Ultimate version, he was ridiculous. He took somebody out with a butter knife, and he used his own, and he ripped and flicked off his own fingernails to and hit each one of the guards in the throat. Oftentimes, depending on who writes them, Hawkeye can do some really absurd stuff that, even if he is a comic book character, you just look at it and you're like, okay, that's ridiculous. But at the same time, Clint Barton is kind of a character who is very underrated at times. But it seems like now, lately, he's become just as popular as Captain America and Iron Man and all the other characters. And a lot of that came from the fact that, he's been a member of the Defenders, the Avengers. Was originally going to take over the role of Captain America after he had after Steve Rogers had been killed. And the picture that you see in the middle is what he looks like in Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, which he was also a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent at some point. But I think what's interesting about Hawkeye is that when he started out, he was not actually a hero. He was actually a villain, and ironically, his relationship was actually with the Black Widow. Because back then, the Black Widow was an Iron Man villain, and she was a Cold War agent trying to steal Stark Industries, blueprints and stuff, and she basically used Hawkeye to defeat, Iron Man, and basically turn him against Iron Man, and then eventually, Hawkeye actually kind of saw the error of his ways, and he became a hero. And ever since, Clint Barton has been kind of one of the foremost, I guess you can say, kind of suave superheroes. And one thing that Hawkeye is also really known for is the fact that he is an extremely sarcastic character. He is constantly always, this guy could literally almost,
he could almost literally take the Marvel trash-talking title from Spider-Man, because he's always just like quibbing away at bad guys. But at the same time, Hawkeye can be a very serious character, and when he gets serious, shit gets real. Because Clint Barton, in one comic, I think alone, he shot like 27, 28 arrows in under a minute. And that was when he was intensely focused. Now, I don't know about you guys, but he is... What is there to really say about Hawkeye that hadn't been already said? I mean, I don't know. I can't really think of anything, because pretty much anything that I really say is something that everybody else would probably be saying, but at the same time, I mean, just everything that I've listed off is pretty much self-explanatory. I mean, he has been in video games. He's been in Ultimate Alliance 1 as a DLC character. He was in the Captain America and the Avengers arcade game that got ported. He's been in Earth's Mightiest Heroes. He was part of the 90s Iron Man cartoon. So Hawkeye's a pretty popular character, or at least a pretty good support character that Marvel likes to use, quite a bit. And I definitely like the way that they develop his character in Earth's Mightiest Heroes. He doesn't really want to help the Avengers, but if it gets him, revenge against Black Widow to a certain extent, then he's all for it. But he kind of feels in his mind that the Avengers are just this, like, guess you can say, socialite, superhero group, and that, he really doesn't feel like taking orders from someone, as rich and, shall we say, cocky as Tony Stark, but he still does anyway. And honestly, when he started out, he was a good support character, but now I think currently the way that they've just kind of built Hawkeye's character up and made him go through everything that he's gone through, I honestly think that he deserves to be in the top tier of Marvel's, like, superheroes. Because, Clint Barton has not just went through a lot of stuff in his life, but he has also, he has actually, I think, earned his place. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for Hawkeye. Now, onward to his DC counterpart.